Welcome back for example 2, simplifying each side before solving equations. So we need to solve equations and then check our answer. So let's go ahead and look at A. There is 2 multiplied by the quantity y plus 6 equals 3y. So if you see here, we have a y on this side of the equation and we have 3y on this side of the equation. But there's a little bit more action happening on this side of the equation over here. So what we're going to do is we're going to simplify that first. We're going to simplify by using the distributive property. So we're going to take this 2 and distribute it to both things. Yes, equality. We're not leaving anybody out. And just think of this little y as a person and this little 6 as another person. And just we're going to multiply that 2 to each little bit. It's all about equality. All right, there we go. So 2 times y, which is going to be 2y, and then 2 times a positive 6, which is going to be a positive 12, equals 3y. So now we're going to try to get the variables on the same side. I always talk about moving the smaller, but in this instance, we have y over here on this right side of the equation all by itself. Well, it's 3y, but it's more by itself than over here with the 2y with the plus 12. So we are going to move this variable over here. Even though this one is smaller, the reason why we're moving it over here is because this y is isolated on this side of the equation, and there's just fewer steps when you move the variable over to this side versus moving this over here and then moving everything to the other side. So inverse operation here for this 2y, this is a positive 2, you know, because there's nothing there. So the inverse operation would be negative 2y to both sides. 2y minus 2y, that is 0, cancels out. We're left with 12 equals 3y minus 2y is y. And then we're going to have that variable on the left side, so we're going to use that symmetric property of equality, which states you can just switch them from side to side, and 12 equals y is the same thing as y equals 12. So that is our solution, but we're going to check it to make sure it's correct. So we're going to write the word check, and then we're going to rewrite that original equation as is. So 2 multiplied by the quantity y plus 6 is equal to 3y. We're going to substitute the 12 in for y here and here. So 2 multiplied by, instead of y, we're writing a 12 plus 6 equals 3 times 12. Okay? Now we're just going to do order of operations on each side of the equation. So here we have parentheses. We're going to simplify that. 12 plus 8 is 18 equals over here, multiplication, 3 times 12 is 36. And then 2 times 18, I'm not sure what that is. I'm going to go over here to the side and figure it out using my brain and not a calculator. 2 times 8 is 16. Write the 6, carry the 1. 2 times 1 is 2, plus 1 is 36. So that's our answer. 36 is equal to 36, which is a true statement. That means that y equals 12 is a solution to this original equation. All right. So let's go on to B. Okay, we have 2k, not the video game, 2k minus 5 equals 3 multiplied by the quantity 1 minus 2k. All right. So over here on this side, we got a lot going on, so we're going to go ahead and use that distributive property again, that 3, and distribute it equally to both things in the parentheses. Rewrite this bit over here because there's nothing really I can simplify with the 2k minus 5. There's no like term, so we just write it again. And we're going to distribute. 3 times 1 is 3. 3 times a negative 2k is positive times a negative is a negative. 3 times 2 is 6, and then there's just a k. All right, cool. So now we have variables on both sides. We're going to move the smaller. Add a 2k and negative 6k, which one is smaller, and the negative number is smaller. So we're going to do the opposite, which would be to add 6k to both sides. 2k plus 6k is 8k. Minus 5 is equal to 3, and then negative 6k plus 6k is 0. Okay. Then we are going to get k by itself, so we got to get rid of this bit out here. The inverse operation of a negative 5 would be a positive 5 to both sides. Okay, that's 0. We're left with 8k equals 3 plus 5, which is 8. And then k, we want to get k by itself. Right now it's being multiplied by 8. Inverse operation of multiplication is division. We're going to divide both sides by 8. 8 divided by 8 is 1. 1 times k is k equals 8 divided by 8 is 1. So k equals 1 is our answer. But we're going to check it. So go ahead and write check. And write that original equation, 2k minus 5 equals 3 multiplied by the quantity 1 minus 2k. All right. And then we're going to substitute that 1 in there for the k. So 2 times 1 minus 5 equals 3 multiplied by the quantity 1 minus 2 times 1. All right, order of operations. We're going to do one side at a time. So over here on this side of the equation, we have multiplication and subtraction. We're going to do the multiplication first. 2 times 1 is 2 minus 5 equals, over here on this side, we have 3 times and then we have a parenthesis, right? So order of operations states we have to do the parenthesis first. So we have subtraction and multiplication. We're going to do the multiplication first. That's what the order of operations states. So negative 2 times a positive 1 is just negative 2. All right, back to this side. 2 minus 5, that is negative 3 equals, over here, order of operations, we have to do that parenthesis first. 3 times 1 minus 2 is a negative 1. And then finally, 3 times negative 1 is negative 3. That is a true statement, which means our answer, k equals 1, is a solution to the original equation. All right, on to problem C. And woo, problem C has a lot going on. Holy goodness. We have 3 minus 5b, variable, plus 2b, variable, equals negative 5 minus 2 multiplied by the quantity 1 minus b, other variable. That is a lot, but it's okay, we can do it. This is what we're going to do. We're going to take each side independently by itself and simplify it. So do we have any like terms on this side? Yeah, we have variables. So I'm going to rewrite that 3 because there's nothing I can do with that. And then we're going to go negative 5b plus 2b. What is that? What is that? What is that? What is that? That is negative 3b equals, okay. Here, now this is tricky. This is tricky. We have negative 5, so we can't do anything, but we have a distributive property here that we need to do. So we need to distribute this, but what do we distribute? This is the question. This kills people. It kills them. It kills them on tests and quizzes and all that type of stuff, but it's not going to kill you because you're going to listen. You're going to pay attention, and you're going to be able to get this. Okay, what do we multiply by? This number in front of the parentheses is a 2, but it's a negative 2. It is a negative 2. Whenever you see that minus 2, that means that whole thing is a negative 2. So when we do the distributive property, we are actually going to distribute that negative 2 to the 1 and that negative 2 to the negative b because it's all about equality. We're going to treat these numbers and letters equally. So everybody gets multiplied by a negative 2. We're not leaving anybody out. All right? So, yeah. So we're going to do that. So rewrite this negative 5. And then we have negative 2 times 1, which is negative 2. And then we have negative 2 times negative b. Okay, so a negative times a negative is a positive. And then 2 times b is just 2b. To be or not to be is the question. All right. So there's still a little bit of simplification we can do on this side of the equation. So we're going to do it. We have 3 minus 3b. We're just rewriting that. We have minus 5 minus 2. Okay, they're both negative, so the answer would be negative 7. And when you combine those, negative 5 minus 2 is negative 7. Plus 2b. All right. Now we have variables on 2 different sides, so we need to get them on the same. We're going to move the smaller. What's smaller, negative 3b or positive 2b? The answer is negative 3b is smaller. So we're going to do the inverse operation of negative 3b, which would be to add 3b to both sides. Negative 3b plus 3b, that cancels out, and that's 0. We have 3 equals -7. 2b plus 3b would be 5b. All right. And then we're just going to isolate and get this b by itself. So we're going to get rid of this bit here. The inverse operation of a -7 would be a +7 to both sides. 3 plus 7 is 10 equals -7 plus 7, that's 0. So we just have 5b over here. Trying to get b by itself, right now it's multiplied by 5. We're going to do the inverse operation of multiplication, which would be division to both sides. 10 divided by 5 is 2 equals 5 divided by 5 is 1. 1 times b is b. And then we're going to do that symmetric property of equality because we want the variable on the left side. So b is equal to 2. All right, that is our answer. Now we're going to go ahead and do the check. The tricky thing about the check is I'm kind of running out of room. But we are going to do it anyway. I'm going to do it, let's see here. I'm going to do it right down here. I think I'm going to have enough space over here. So I'm going to write check here. And then I am going to write the original equation right here. So 3 minus 5b plus 2b equals -5 minus 2 multiplied by the quantity, 1 minus b. All right, and then we're going to substitute 2 in for b here, 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 and here. So 3 minus 5 times 2 plus 2 times 2 equals -5 minus 2 multiplied by the quantity, 1 minus not b, but b is equal to 2. Okay, so we have a lot going on. We have order of operations over here. We got to solve order of operations over there on that side. Okay, so looking at this, the first thing I see is some multiplication. So I'm going to rewrite this 3. I have a -5 times 2, which is a -10. And then I have a +2 times 2, which is a +4, is equal to, over here, order of operations, that says we have to do the parentheses first. So I'm just going to rewrite all this other stuff. So -5 minus 2 multiplied by the quantity. 1 minus 2 is equal to -1. All right, all right. And then over here, we're just adding and subtracting. So I'm just going to go 3 minus 10, which would be a -7 plus 4 equals. And then I'm going to have to do this multiplication. So I'm going to rewrite the -5. -2 times a -1. A negative times a negative is a positive. 2 times 1 is 2. All right, back over here. -7 plus 4 ends up being -3, equaling -5 plus 2 ends up being -3. So that is a true statement, which means our solution b equals 2 is the solution to the original equation. Woohoo! All right, on to D. D. What do we have? 1/2 multiplied by the quantity, b plus 6 equals 3/2 times b minus 1. All right, here's the other b on that side. Okay. They're hitting us with some fractions. That's okay, no sweat. We can do this. So the first thing we have to do is we have to distribute that 1/2 to both things because it's all about equality. 1/2 times b is 1/2 b. 1/2 times 6 is just what's 1/2 of 6. Well, 1/2 of 6 is 3. So we'd have 3 equals 3/2 b minus 1. And I know last time we talked about 2 different ways, keeping the fractions and then getting rid of the fractions. We're just going to go ahead and keep the fractions and solve it like the way it is. So we have variables on both sides. We're going to move the smaller. So what's smaller, 1/2 or 3/2? Well, 1/2 would be smaller. So we're going to do the inverse operation. 1/2, there's nothing here, which means 1/2 is positive. So we're going to subtract 1/2 b to both sides. Okay, 1/2 b minus 1/2 b, that's 0, that cancels. We're left with 3 equals 3/2 b minus 1/2 b. There's a common denominator, so we're just going to go 3 minus 1, which is 2. Keep that common denominator of 2b minus 1. All right, so we have, what's 2 divided by 2? That would be 1b minus 1, right? And 1b is just the same thing as 1, right? I mean, not 1b is the same thing as b, not the same thing as 1. Sorry about that. So we really have 3 equals b minus 1. Okay, then we're going to get b by itself, so we're going to do the inverse operation of minus 1, which would be adding 1 to both sides. So we got 3 plus 1, which is 4, equals b. And then we're going to use that symmetric property of equality and go b equals 4. Boom. There we go. Let's go ahead and see if our solution is correct. We're going to write the word check. And we're going to write that original equation. Oh, yeah. We're going to write it. Just how it is. 1/2 multiplied by b plus 6 equals 3 over 2. Excuse me. Sorry about that. Okay, my bad. 3 over 2b minus 1. Okay, we're going to substitute that 4 in for b. Here and here. So we have 1/2 4, substitute that in for b, plus 6. Equals 3 over 2, and substitute 4 in for b right there, minus 1. All right, all right. Okay, we got parentheses. So 4 plus 6, that's, you know, order of operations, right? We got to do the parentheses first. 4 plus 6 is 10. So we end up with 1/2 times 10. Okay, okay. What do we have here? We got multiplication and we have subtraction. So we're going to do multiplication first. We got fraction, so we're multiplying fractions. So we're going to make this 4 over 1, which is the same thing as 4. And whenever you multiply fractions, you always look to cross cancel first and then multiply across. Multiply across. Okay, here we go. Let's see. Cross cancel. Can't do anything with a 1 and the 3. Anytime there's a 1, that's simplified. 1 can't get any more simplified than 1. 2 and the 4, is there a common factor there? Yeah, it is 2. 2 goes into 2 one time, 2 goes into 4 2 times, and then we multiply across. 3 times 2 is 6 over 1 times 1 is 1. 6 over 1 is the same thing as 6. And then we write this minus 1 bit. All right, all right. Then we have over here, we have 1/2 of 10. That's just half of 10, right? Half of 10. 1/2 times 10 is the same thing as half of 10, which is 5. We know that's half of 10 is 5. Equals 6 minus 1 is 5. So it's a true statement. Woohoo! That means our solution, b equals 4, is the solution to this original equation. Oh my goodness, that was a lot. All right, so we have E and F, E and F, E and F, E and F. It's your turn to do E and F. Okay, I'm sorry. I just got kind of excited. It's your turn, and here's the pause dragon. Ready here to remind you that you need to pause your device, laptop, computer, whatever you're doing, I don't know. Pause it, work out E and F, and remember to check your answer and write the original equation. Then when you get done, press play. Remember to write in pencil, because if you do something that is different than what I'm doing, I want you to erase it and then write what I'm writing. All right, we'll see you in a bit. Go for it. You can do it. You can do it. All right, we're back. Let's go ahead and see E. Let's see how you did. Okay, E. What do we have? E. There's a lot of stuff. There's a lot of stuff happening with E. Okay, we got 3x, that's a variable, plus 15 minus 9 equals 2 multiplied by the quantity, x plus 2. Okay, what do we got to do first? We need to distribute this 2 to both things. We're going to show equality, 2 times x and 2 times 2. Okay, and we're going to simplify this over here on this side. Sorry, I jumped from side to side. My bad. Let's start with this side. Okay, so there's simplify. We're going to start with those numbers. Rewrite the 3x. 15 minus 9 is 6. Positive 6. Equals, and oh yeah, it's time to distribute. Distribute equally. 2 times x is 2x. 2 times 2 is 4. Now we have variables on both sides. We're going to move the smaller, which would be this one. That is you. You're about to get moved. Okay, inverse operation. This is a positive 2x. We're going to do the opposite, which would be negative 2x to both sides. 3x minus 2x is just x. Plus 6 equals 2x minus 2x is, you cancel that out, and we're just left with 4. And we're trying to get x by itself, so we got to get rid of this positive 6, which would be to subtract 6 to both sides, and we're left with x equals 4 minus 6 would be negative 2. Okay, let's go ahead and see if it works. So we're going to check it write the word check. Okay, write that original equation. I'm going to write a line here. Just write a line down. Okay. 3x plus 15 minus 9 equals 2 multiplied by the quantity x plus 2. We're going to put negative in for x. And remember, whenever you're putting that negative number in for x, you got to put it in parentheses. So 3 multiplied by negative 2. Okay, we're putting a negative number into a variable, so we put in parentheses. Plus 15 minus 9 equals 2 multiplied by the quantity, and then we're going to put negative 2 in for x. Negative 2 plus 2. All right. And then, yeah, just order of operations one side at a time. So we're going to focus on the left side here. We got multiplication, addition, subtraction. We're going to do that multiplication. 3 times negative 2 is negative 6. Rewrite positive 15 minus 9 equals, and then we have parentheses here. 2 times, no, we're doing parentheses, Joy. We're doing parentheses. Negative 2 plus 2 is 0. Okay. And then what do we have over here? All right, addition and subtraction. So we'll just move left to right. Negative 6 plus 15 would be a positive 9. 9 minus 9 equals 2 times 0 is 0. 9 minus 9 is 0. 0 is equal to 0. So that is a true statement, which means our solution, x equals negative 2, is the solution to the original equation. So if you got that right, woohoo, great job. That was a tough one. Okay, let's move on to F. F is a doozy. It's a doozy. There's a lot going on. All right, let's go for it. 4 minus 6a, okay, so that's our variable, minus 6a, plus 4a, okay, there's another variable, equals negative 1 minus 5 multiplied by the quantity, 7 minus 2a. Okay. So we're going to take each side of this equation and first simplify this left side. So we're going to combine like terms. We have variables here, right? So we're just going to rewrite that 4. There's nothing to combine with. There's no other numbers that are by themselves. So we just rewrite the 4. Negative 6a plus 4a would be a negative 2a equals, and what do we have over here? Oh yeah, I see some distributive property. But the key is, what do you distribute? What do you distribute? I don't know. You have to know, Pause Dragon, what to distribute. Do you distribute 5 or do you distribute negative 5? I don't know. It's so much pressure. There's so much pressure. I don't know if it's 5 or negative 5. That's okay. I'll help you out. We'll see you in a little bit. Okay. What you distribute in front here, it's not just 5. It's not just 5. It is negative 5. You have to know that that negative right there, that one right there, we need to accentuate. We're going to accentuate the negative right here. That is a negative, and it is attached to the 5. You are distributing, okay, we're multiple arrows. Multiple, yes. Lots of arrows. You got to love the arrows. It is a negative 5. You distribute the negative 5 to both things. So we're doing it. Negative 5 to the 7. Negative 5 to the negative 2a. Okay, we got this. What was that? Is that a 1? Looks like a 1. Okay, so we're rewriting that negative 1. And then we're going to distribute negative 5 to 7. Okay, so negative times a positive is a negative. 5 times 7 is 35. I always like to break it up like that. I find it easier. So negative 5 times negative 2a. Negative times a negative is a positive. 5 times 2 is 10. And then it's just a, right? Now, nothing more to simplify here. So I'm just going to rewrite that. 4 minus 2a equals. But we can simplify these numbers on this side. A negative 1 minus 35 ends up being negative 36 plus 10a. And now is the time to get the variables on the same side by moving the smaller one. Negative 2a or positive 10a. Negative 2a is smaller, so we're going to do the inverse operation of that, which would be to add 2a to both sides. Okay, negative 2a plus 2a, that is 0. And then, yeah, we're left with 4. And then what do we have over here? Negative 36, 10a plus 2a would be a positive 12a. Okay, now we're just going to isolate and get a by itself. So we're going to get rid of this bit on the outside. Negative 36, the inverse of that would be a positive 36 to both sides. We got 4 plus 36, which would be 40, equals 12a. And then we're just trying to get a by itself, so we're going to do inverse operation of multiplication, which would be division of 12 to both sides. Okay, so we have 40 over 12. I don't think 12 goes into 40, what's the word? Evenly, so we're going to simplify that. What goes into 40 and what goes into 12? Well, I think 4 goes into both. 4 goes into 12 3 times. 4 goes into 40 10 times. So our answer is 10 over 3, but I'm going to go ahead and use that symmetric property of equality and put A over here, A over 10 over 3. And boom shakalaka. There you go. Now let's go ahead and check it and see if it is correct. Okay, over here. So I'm going to, I need some space. Okay, I think I'm going to go like this and then go down. Okay, so check. Write the original equation. 4 minus 6a plus 4a equals -1 minus 5 multiplied by the quantity, 7 minus 2a. Oh my gosh, that's a lot. Okay, then we substitute 10 over 3 in to all these places where a is. So 4 minus 6 times 10 over 3 plus 4 times 10 over 3 equals -1 minus 5 multiplied by the quantity, 7 minus 2 multiplied by 10 over 3. Oh yeah, this one looks like it's going to be a fun check. Okay, so what are we going to do next? What are we going to do? All right, so let's start here with the order of operations, this side. Okay, we are multiplying fractions here, so I'm going to make this 6 into a 6 over 1, and whenever we're multiplying fractions, we look to cross cancel and then multiply across. Okay, so if we're looking here at the 6 and the 3, is there a common factor? Yes, 3. 3 goes into 3 one time, 3 goes into 6 2 times. I'm going to rewrite this 4 right here. 4 minus, and then we multiply across. So a -2 times 10 is -20 over 1, which is just -20. And then we go here, this multiplication, this is going to be 4 over 1. We look to cross cancel. We can't do anything with the 1 and 10, can't do anything with the 4 or 3, so we just multiply across, and we get 4 times 10, which is 40 over 3. Cool. Equals, oh, we got a lot going on over here. Oh, we need another parenthesis there. Okay, so I'm just going to rewrite this bit. And then, what are we going to do? We have subtraction and multiplication. We're going to do that multiplication first. So 7 minus, we're going to change that into a fraction. We look to cross cancel. Can we do anything with 1 and 10? No. What about the 2 and 3? No. So then we just multiply across. 2 times 10 is 20 over 1 times 3 is 3. Okay. I'm going to simplify this. 4 minus 20 ends up being a -16 plus 40 over 3 equals -1. And then we're going to simplify this over here in this parenthesis. So I'm going to change this 7 into a fraction, 7 over 1, and I need to get a common denominator. So the common denominator between 1 and 3 would be 3. So I'm going to multiply this by 3 and also this by 3. So then we have 7 times 3 is 21 over 1 times 3 is 3 minus 20 over 3. Okay. So yeah, then we move over here. Okay, so we have, we need to add, and we have a fraction here, so we need to make this a fraction. So 16 over 1, get a common denominator again, which is going to be 3. So we got to multiply this by 3, whatever you, to the bottom and the top. Okay, so what do we have? We have negative, and then 16 times 3, I'm not sure what that is. I'm going to take that up here. 16 times 3, 3 times 6 is 18, 8 times 1, 3 times 1 is 3, plus 1 is 48. So we have negative 48 over 1 times 3 is 3, plus 40 over 3 equals -1 minus 5 multiplied by, now we can do this little bit right here. what's happening here? Common denominator, 21 minus 20 is just 1 over 3. Okay. Then what do we have here? We have a common denominator, so we're just going to go negative 48 plus 40, which ends up being negative 8 over 3 equals, okay, we're going to do the multiplication here, right? So make this negative 5 over 1. We look to cross cancel. Can't cancel anything there, can't cancel anything there. So then we multiply across, and we're left with negative 1. Negative 5 times 1 is negative 5 over 1 times 3, which is 3. And then we need to get a common denominator on this side, so I'm going to make this negative 1 over 1, and then we got to get a common denominator, which would be 3. So we're going to multiply both of those. Oh man, we're running out of room. 8 over 3 equals, what do we have? We have negative 1 times 3, which would be negative 3 over 1 times 3, which is 3, minus 5 over 3. Okay. Where do I go from here? We'll just kind of make a little box right here. A very nice little friendly box. And then this whole bit right here, we're going to move this right here. Right here. So we have our negative 8 over 3 equals, we have a common denominator, so we just go negative 3 minus 5, which is going to be negative 8 over 3. And there we have it. We have our true statement, which means our solution, A equals 10 over 3, is the solution to the original equation. And if you got that right, you were amazing. You were amazing. If you didn't, erase, fix it. You can do that, okay? But your check needs to look like this, and the way that you solve it needs to look like this. So if you got that right, awesome job, and I will see you in a little bit for example 3. See you in a